Hi, it's Paul from howtoplaybass.com. This is a quick screencast tutorial showing you how to use Band in a Box to generate a backing track to take you through the cycle of fifths, and so you can play something in every key. Okay, first step, this is Band in a Box is open. You can see it in front of you. This is the screen you get when you open the program with all the standard defaults. First thing I always do is title my file. So let's type in, I'm going to call it cycle of fifths. So press return when you've done, and there you go. You see it's cycle of fifths. And then also I've saved it to my default location. You can choose where to save it to by using the save as or going down. Anyway, so what we're now going to do is we're now going to enter a progression that goes around the cycle of fifths. We're going to use it starting at C, and we're going to go counterclockwise, and we're going to have 2 bars for every root note. So what you need to do is, let me just move that back. When this black rectangle is, this is where your input is for chords. So at the moment the first bar is on C. We've already got C there, so we don't need to change that. If you use the right arrow and move it twice, because Band in a Box works in increments of half a bar, that'll take you to the second bar, as you can see. And we type C there, move it to the right arrow twice again to get to the next bar. Now the next note in the cycle of fifths is F. So we type an F in, and we move it to the right too and get the next bar. Then from F we go to the next note, which is B flat. Now you'll see in the corner here where it shows you what you're entering, I've just typed 2 lowercase b's. When I press return or move the arrow on, you'll see the Band in a Box automatically recognizes that as B flat. So you don't have to do a capital B and a lowercase b. You just need to type a normal letter name followed by a B of any sort, and Band in a Box will recognize it as a flat. So there's E flat in. Next key after E flat is A flat. And you see how quick this is. And then we'll do D flat. Now the next note after D flat is either G flat or its enharmonic equivalent, which is F sharp. I'm going to do F sharp because I want to show you something. If you're new to Band in a Box, when you enter a sharp, what you do, you press a 3, you enter a number 3 for it. So you see there at the top I've got F3, and look what happens when I move on, it turns to F sharp. And so there's F3 again, and Band in a Box recognizes a F sharp. Next note is B, then it's E, then it's A, then it's D, followed by G, and we're finished. Okay, so that didn't take very long to set up, did it? Now, before we can actually use it to start practicing along with things too, we've got to change some of these, the standard default settings that Band in a Box has. Now this one here is, you can see it's got a little text tips come underneath. It's the key signature of the song. So if you didn't want to start in C, say you wanted to start in D flat, you could literally click it, press D flat, it will say OK to transpose the lead sheet. You say yes, and what Band in a Box will automatically do is it will change everything to D flat. Now we're actually going to do it in C, so let's put it back to C. It'll ask us to transpose the lead sheet again. We say yes, so that's okay. Now the next one is the tempo. 120, you might be, depending on what exercise you're doing, it might be a comfortable tempo. I'm going to show you how to change the tempo. It's very straightforward. You can either, there are 2 ways, you can either click on the T and it will give you a dialog box. Let's say we're going to put in 60, and there you see tempo 60. Or if you hover the cursor adjacent to the metronome marking, you'll see it says, above it, it says +1 or +5. If you click, you can just take the tempo up like that, and if you want to take it down again, you can just hover the mouse and it will say -5 or +5. Now this box here, this next one, which says 1 to 32, this is telling Band in a Box to generate a track from bar 1 to bar 32. That's its standard setting. However, we only want to go to bar 24. So to change that, what you do is you click on Band in a Box, click on 32, and you'll see the cursor changes to like a crosshair and up here we've got this flashing saying click on a bar. So this is the last bar of our progression. So if we click on that, you'll see now Band in a Box says 1 to 24 there. So what that will do when we press play, that will generate from bars 1, which is here in C, to bar 24, which is here in G. The final thing that we want to change, actually the penultimate thing we want to change, is here, is this number 3. What that denotes is how many times Band in a Box is going to play through from bar 1 here at C to bar 24 here in G before it goes to the automatic ending. Now this is set up for 3. You can set it for, you see if you click on it you get all these options. You can set it for a lot of, a lot of times. We're just going to set it for 1 for this. Now there's one more change that we need to do, and that's here. This is the style that Band in a Box has automatically chosen, and when Band in a Box was originally programmed it was very heavily jazz orientated. You can still see that bias towards jazz with the styles that are available, although it is getting better and they're getting more styles in other genres other than jazz. There's some good rock styles. Be nice to have some really good funk styles, but I'm sure they're coming and won't be too far down the line in the scheme of things. So what we do now, what style you can use, sorry, you can use either one of their built-in MIDI styles, or you can use a style with their real tracks if you've got Band in a Box with real tracks. Not everyone has, so I'm going to stick with the MIDI styles. The one that I use for these kind of exercises, which is very simple, is a style called Light Rock, which you find from going to the Styles drop-down menu and simply clicking on it. Okay, so let's generate a Band in a Box track. Let's get a track going that we can use as a practice thing. You can either do it 2 ways. You can press this play triangle here, or you can tap your space bar and that will automatically set it running. So Band in a Box is now running. There's one thing we're going to do as it's playing. You hear this. Okay, and one thing I don't like about this for when I'm practicing is the sound of the Rhodes piano. So you see here that I've got the piano radio button is clicked, and here in this box is the actual piano that's being used. If you go here to the little arrows and we click on them, there we go, we can get that changed to an acoustic piano, which just sounds a bit better. And what you've got now, yes, it's a bit cheesy sounding, but you've got a backing track that's got nice steady rhythm, which comes obviously from the drum track, and you've got some harmony, and you can then practice whatever it is you're practicing in every key, whether it's a specific lick or a specific technique that you're working on. Obviously you've got, if 70 is too slow, you've got total flexibility on your tempo. You can whiz it up in a blink of an eye just by doing that. So that's, just stop that going. So that's a quick overview of how you can use Band in a Box to generate tracks that have elements of rhythm and elements of harmony for you to play along to. One thing I just realised I've forgotten. The other thing you need to do is go to the bass and click the radio button, and then right click on it, and you get a drop down menu, and you want to mute the bass, so when you're playing along there's no Band in a Box playing that will clash with what you're playing. So that's a quick screencast video which talks you through how to generate your own cycle of fifths backing track.